All right, here it is, guys. This is the video to watch. You want to know what my setup is and what I've been running at home? Stay tuned. All right, let's get started. So I made this video to showcase my Chia farming setup. It's something that a few of you guys have asked me about, and I figured now it's time to show you what it's made of. I'm really excited about this video. I don't think I've really talked about much about my computer and my setups, but it is something that I'm really proud of. It does like on a good day, over 120 plots. So I'm going to talk about my farmer first. All right. This guy right here, he is my old gaming PC. I think there's an Intel Core i7 in there, 8700K. So a few years old, but nothing too crazy. It has 6 cores. I went ahead and actually moved all of the components out of my old case and put it in this fractal define 7XL because that case, it can hold 18 hard drives, I think, max. The way I have it set up with a liquid cooler on the top, kind of pushing air out, limits 3 slots, so I'm down to 15. It still holds a ton of space. It's a great case. It's pretty intuitive, and the way that you can set up the storage is really nice. Obviously, with it, I have some SAS cards that convert to SATA, which are plugged into the hard drives. And then, yeah, I have a small NVMe in there. Sometimes I use it for a little bit of like small load plotting, maybe doing like I aim for about 3 plots, 3 to 4 plots running in parallel in that system, because I don't want it to bottleneck and slow down the farmer too much, because there's an impact when you do that. So it just kind of chills, and sometimes I turn it on for plotting, sometimes I just kind of let it hang out. But yeah, that's the farmer. And then it connects obviously to 2 of my plotters. The first one I just built. This is a brand new one. It has an AMD 5900X, which has 12 cores. There's 64 gigs of RAM in there. And then there are 2 2TB Samsung 980 Pro Nvme drives in there. I built this, about a week ago. And really these were all the parts that I could find. A lot of things were already out of stock. Enterprise SSDs are completely out of the question. Yeah, I couldn't find much, to be honest with you. I put Ubuntu server on there. It's more performant. You're getting 10 to 20% more performance out of it. If you're super serious about plotting, this is something you guys should consider. So this system, I think, set me back about $2,700-ish, and right now it's doing about 45 to 50 plots a day. If I really wanted to, I think I could probably squeeze and eke out a little bit more performance. I've still been tinkering around with Plotman instead of Swars on there, and I've been trying to get the settings down. It's a little bit different of a plot manager, so just playing around with that. Before I jump into my absolute Nvmes system, if you guys are finding the content on this channel really interesting, do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Also helps you guys get notifications of when I come out with the latest video. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. We have some really interesting stuff going on, and we can't wait to share it with you. All right, and then here it is. This is my behemoth of a system. It is my $7,500 Threadripper system. It has a 3970X, which is loaded with 32 cores. It has 256 gigs of RAM. I have tons of NVMEs in there. There's 1 2TB Western Digital NVMe. There's 1 2TB Gigabyte Aorus NVMe in there. And then I got my enterprise hard drives as well. I have an Intel P4618, which is the 6.4 terabyte Intel drive. I think those are capable of doing petabytes of writing, which is insane. And then I have 2 4TB 4510s in there, and it's absolutely overkill of a system. It's insane. I use it for a lot of different things. I use it for my video editing. I use it for a little bit of gaming here and there, and it's an amazing system. I won't lie. Right now it's churning out anywhere from 70 to 75 plots on Windows too. So I could probably get closer to 80 or 90 if I was on Linux. I've seen some other guys with the 3970 and they're ripping 100 a day just on that system. So it's crazy. It's a crazy fast system. Super happy with it. It set me back $7,500, so it should be darn good, but really proud of it. There's tons of fans. It's housed inside this insane Corsair 1000D case, which is a super huge case. I don't, the video is doing it justice. You can see it side by side here with my other computer, and that's like a mid tower. And obviously, yeah, it's huge, but you got to see one of these in person to really realize how big it is. It's super heavy. I put tons of fans in there. I'm in the process of, once I get an RTX 3080, I will look to convert it to a fully liquid cooled system. Right now, it's just the CPU that's liquid cooled with one of those AIO kits. But yeah, it's an insane plotter. It connects to, I have two 2TB Samsung 870 EVOs in there as well, and they're set up in RAID 0 so that when it's basically a buffer drive, because when those plots finish, and there's a lot of them, I need to write it quickly. And finally, another important thing is once you start ripping a lot of plots daily, you're going to start hitting transfer issues, especially over the network. So to tie it all off, I have a 10 gigabit Ethernet network set up in my apartment. I use this QNAP switch. It connects to my router, and then it gives all my different devices, my 2 plotters, my farmer, as well as my NAS. It gives it all a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, although it runs a little bit slower, but it's doubled the bandwidth when I transfer across the network, and I'm basically hitting max write speeds for the hard drives. So it's super helpful. It's absolutely necessary when you start getting that many plots coming through. I think is overlooked, but definitely something that if you are a hardcore plotter or want to be a hardcore plotter, that is something that you need to think about. And that's it. That is my setup right there. It's capable of doing 110, 120 plots a day. Really happy with it. If I were to do it all over again, I'd probably change a few things. First thing is, the system's really nice. The Threadripper is really nice for doing all these other things. But if I were to go like hardcore Chia plotting, I would do cheaper systems in parallel. Intel CPUs also tend to perform a little better, is what I'm noticing and seeing. But yeah, definitely like 3 or 4 Intel builds that are a little bit smaller, a little bit more efficient. And that's probably gonna, I think, it could probably whip out 160, maybe 200 plots a day with that kind of setup instead. But what can you do, right? And yeah, that's it. That wraps up this video. The next video I'm doing is all about automated plotting and plotting optimization with a plot manager. I'm going to share with you guys my super secret settings for the S'wars plot manager. So if you don't want to miss out on that, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. See you next video.